Well, there's all kinds of just, as they say, guerrilla type things you can come up with. I heard a story that back in the 60s, one of the main rock groups from the United States went over to England, couldn't get anybody to buy tickets for their concert until their bus conveniently broke down in was it Times Square or Tilly Square over there, and blocked the evening rush hour traffic, of course, with their name all over the side of it, and got all the press coverage from the TV. So there are things like that that can happen. We had something similar to that. A couple of years ago, Denise got invited to by a local bar, very small bar and restaurant. She was working clubs at the time, and remind me, I'll come back to why we're not doing clubs anymore. But we were trying to get gigs, and summertime it's usually pretty slow. So I heard this one club was looking for some people. I went over and talked to him, the club owner, and he said, yeah, it doesn't pay very much. I think he's only paying like 100 or 100 quarter a night, which barely covers our cost to get there. But the deal was, right across the street from the club, they had a weekly concert in the park, and they were bringing in all of these semi-known national names, a lot of the older rock groups that are doing concerts and festivals now. So he said, what the heck, yeah, I mean, a lot of the people from the concerts will be coming into the bar afterwards, that might help. So we booked 2 dates there. The first one got rained out, so that was a washout. The second one was the old 60s, 70s singer B.J. Thomas. And we showed up that day, and I always get to places very early. I don't like to trust other people or leave things till the last minute. So we got there like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the concert didn't start until 7, and then we weren't going on until about 8:30 that evening. But we parked on a side street right next to the restaurant, and I parked there on purpose because we have a large trailer with beautiful graphics all over it. Her pictures on the side of it, her name, website, all that kind of thing. And I thought, well, all the people that are walking to and from the concert will see the trailer. It's good advertising. So when the concert started at 7 o'clock, we were backstage with B.J. Thomas, and I was looking up the street to where the truck and trailer were parked, and I just started laughing. And Denise looked at me and she goes, what's so funny? And I said, I wish I'd been smart enough to think of this at the time. And it was purely by accident. I didn't realize that the train station for the commuter trains was right there where the truck and trailer were parked. So you've got hundreds of thousands of people probably that day taking the trains home from work from downtown Chicago to the suburbs, and they're going by and they're seeing this gigantic concert in the park. Probably had 4,000 or 5,000 people there, and they had no idea who was there except they saw her trailer there with her name all over it. And I said, that's good advertising. We used to, even at times that she wasn't working, I'd get home on a Friday night, I would hitch the trailer up behind our van, and I would tow it everywhere all weekend long, any place we went, because it's just one giant rolling billboard. And that's, other than what it cost me to get the trailer done that way, it's free advertising. It also makes her look very important. Image is a great deal. So when you see, we would get people passing us on the expressway, the kids be staring out the windows of the cars and waving, thinking that she was some big star because of this gorgeous trailer we had. And this was at a time when she was just doing local bars and nightclubs. One other trick I will tell you, it is legitimate. The newspapers will swear up and down that this has no effect whatsoever. I know better. We had a newspaper a couple of years ago that when we were doing a concert in one of the cities, outlying cities around Chicago, and I knew the promoter, or it was a nightclub, cabaret style club. I knew he did absolutely nothing to promote his people that were appearing there. Most of the club owners don't. They look for artists that bring in a following rather than them having to spend any money advertising. So artists have to learn to become their own promoters. So I went out there about a week before just to check on some of the electrical connections, things like that. And I asked the manager, I said, how are your reservations going? And he said, oh my God, he said, I don't believe this. We're completely sold out. He said, that's never happened before. And I'm thinking to myself, I know it hasn't happened before because you don't do anything to sell it out. The reason it was sold out is that I went to the local newspaper and I said, I need an article in the paper about Denise. She's got a great story. It'll be a good human interest story. Well, they were a little hesitant about it, and then when I offered to buy an ad in the paper, they suddenly got much more interested on the editorial side about doing the article. The news people will swear up and down that advertising is completely separate. It doesn't affect their judgment. But depending on the size of the ad and how desperate for money they are, it can affect the editor and publisher's means big time. I've seen it happen. So that's one way of getting some press coverage.